I mean, everybody in all of the TV news stations that I know right now want to have a presence in the digital space as well. So I think, if you were working as a producer at a local ABC affiliate, volunteer to start an Instagram account for them if they don't have it. Volunteer to run the Instagram account for them, and start making some videos that do really well, that are breaking up from segments you've produced, and tailor them to those platforms. See what other people are doing on those platforms. See what works. I think just taking the initiative and doing that, even within a broadcast scenario, would allow you to very seamlessly segue into it. I think it's someone that's a little bit maybe more bold, a little more daring, has a little bit more of an opinion on things than one would associate with traditional broadcast journalism. I think it's somebody that's probably willing to get a little bit, their hands dirty a little bit more, and really sort of get into the grit of a story, or someone who's willing to add commentary and add that element as well. Those are both aspects that I think are really sought out in that sphere right now.
What does that person look like? Are they that polished, traditional look, or no?
No, I think moving as far away from the polished, traditional look, I think there's an element of relatability that's important. I think before, people wanted their news and their TV news to look very, very clean and very, very polished, very, But ultimately now what people are looking for is somebody that really feels like they have their own identity, they have their own personality, they have their own quirks. So somebody who might not have traditionally been great for TV broadcast journalism can really make a lot of sense for digital broadcast. I think in terms of producers, we're looking for people that can think about making really good stories and also thinking about the method of distribution for them. So video is incredibly important in digital media right now, but it's important across Twitter, across Instagram, across Facebook, as well as on native players for digital media companies. I think that the type of video that people want to interact with and consume on each of those platforms is really different. So I think people that can get a better sense of what an Instagram video looks like versus what a Twitter video looks like versus what a Facebook video looks like, what that audience is looking for, what the person who is on any one of those platforms is wanting to take out of a video experience. The more that you can play around as a producer, and even if that just means you are in broadcast journalism and you start sort of chopping your own pieces up to fit in a place like Instagram and experiment and see what works. We had somebody come over earlier who is at Columbia J School, and I think one of the things that was most interesting about her to me was she was talking about how she was trying to make serious news video work on Instagram. And that's something that is really important to people right now, because Instagram could be this incredible place for news distribution and news consumption, but it leans more towards lifestyle at this point in time. It doesn't have to be that way, and I think the people that are very, very hands-on in terms of not just the story that they're producing, but the platform that they're producing it for, are the people who are going to be able to better make that transition into a digital space and have more of a niche or something more marketable to show for it.
So
I think a video that would work on Twitter, I think people have to realize that things like thumbnails become endlessly more important, because your video is just stuck on a thumbnail when you first start it. You need people to press play on Twitter. Versus on something like Facebook, you have autoplay. So with Facebook autoplay, you have probably guaranteed that people are going to see about 3 to 5 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds without audio as they're scrolling through. So those 3 to 5 seconds better be visually interesting, and something like incorporating text overlay or incorporating subtitling where it's necessary, realizing that people aren't going to have their audio on to entice them to turn the audio on, is important. Little things like that end up becoming sort of endlessly important. So I think some of the things that people would think of as more like tactile, or more of something that someone in charge of distribution would work with or deal with, it's now up to the producer to think about those things actively, not just once they have produced something, but while they are producing it. I mean, if you're a print journalist, I think print journalists tend to just think about the text, and what's important in a digital sense is thinking about yourself as part of a team that's like producing a story. So you might be in charge of the content, but you want to work as closely with the people that are doing photo, the people that are doing video, the people that are doing art as you can, to make sure that your stories are truly web native, and really feel like they are incorporating the technology that they're capable of incorporating. And I think that is what's really different. A good story is still a good story at the end of the day, and that doesn't change. People's attention spans do, and the way that things are visually formatted do. Even just integrating photos or integrating art into text makes it work much more on mobile, much better on mobile, helps people get through it much more easily. People don't respond to a block of text on a screen that's just endless the same way that they respond to that in a newspaper. And I think people can even think about their own experience. I mean, look at your own online habits, look at what you click on, look at what you find interesting, and then maybe go a step further and ask why you're finding that interesting. Why are you gravitating towards some of these stories? And even just doing that self-reflection, I think, can give you a lot of insight into some of the differences and help you bridge the gap.